In a world that seems to thrive on noise, silence can feel like a radical act of rebellion, don't you think? Every single day, we wake up to this whirlwind of voices swirling around, a social media buzzing with opinions, news channels sparking arguments, and endless chatter from folks just trying to be seen and heard. It's like everyone's racing to say something, but so few are willing to take a moment to understand anything deeper. And then, in the middle of all that chaos, you have the quiet ones. You know the type. Ones who don't shout, don't argue, and don't feel the need to be front and center to feel valid. These are the folks who choose silence in a world that's anything but quiet. And guess what? Their silence carries weight. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. A lot of people mix up quietness with shyness or even arrogance. They might think, why doesn't this person speak up? Don't they care? But here's the kicker. Silence isn't about not having thoughts. It's about having deep thoughts. Those who choose to be quiet often see things that others miss entirely. They're tuned into the subtle shifts, the way someone's tone changes, the flicker in someone's eyes, or that smile that just doesn't quite reach their heart. While everyone else is busy rushing to respond, they're still processing, wanting to truly understand before jumping in. In psychology, we call this reflective processing. It's all about observing, thinking, and responding with intention rather than just reacting out of emotion. The quiet ones aren't disconnected. They're actually deeply connected, just not to the noise around them. Their silence creates a kind of mystery, and that mystery gives them presence. Ever notice how the most powerful people in a room often say the least? It's not that they have nothing to say. It's that they get the value of timing. When you hold back your words, you give others the chance to reveal themselves. You can tell who's just filling the air with noise and who's speaking because they genuinely have something meaningful to share. There's a psychological aspect to this. Silence gives you control. It slows everything down, making people pay attention to your energy instead of just your words. That's why, when a quiet person finally decides to speak, everyone leans in to listen. Their silence has made their voice sacred. Sometimes people stay silent because they've been hurt in the past. They've spoken up before, and no one listened. They've tried to explain themselves, only to be misunderstood. So now, they've figured out that peace is a lot safer than trying to prove a point. For them, silence isn't just about finding peace. It's about protection. It shields them from drama, gossip, and conversations that drain rather than heal. It keeps them safe from people who twist their words and intentions. So, they opt for stillness not because they don't have anything to say, but because they understand that not everyone deserves to hear their truth. That kind of silence is sacred. It's not a sign of weakness, it's emotional maturity. Inside every quiet person is a world that most people will never get to see. They think deeply, feel intensely, and love wholeheartedly. They tend to overanalyze and overthink, often experiencing emotions that others can't even name. Their silence often stems from a mind that's constantly at work. Every word they say is carefully filtered, and every reaction is scrutinized. That's why they often prefer peace. They already have enough noise in their inner world. You might find them sitting quietly in a crowd, but inside, they're soaking it all in how people communicate, how they connect, what feels genuine versus what feels forced. That's not disinterest, that's depth. Quiet people don't chase after surface-level chit-chat. They crave conversations filled with meaning, purpose, and authenticity. They'd rather share a comfortable silence with someone real than engage in endless small talk with someone fake. In communication psychology, silence is one of the most powerful tools of influence. When you take a moment to pause, you spark curiosity in others. When you don't react right away, you make them reconsider their words. When you stay calm in the midst of chaos, you shift the energy in the room. That's the psychology of control. Loudness is fleeting, but calmness, that's lasting. The quiet ones hold immense power because they're not driven by their emotions, they're guided by awareness. They don't feel the need to win arguments. They've already won the moment they chose peace over noise. Staying silent when you could easily speak, that's a true show of strength. Walking away when you could engage in conflict, that's wisdom. It's all about emotional self-mastery, the ability to stay grounded even when everything around you feels chaotic. Quiet people understand a fundamental truth. You can't control what others say or do, but you can always control your reaction. That's why they take a moment to pause before responding. They think before they speak, knowing that once words leave your mouth, you can't take them back. Their silence isn't rooted in fear. It's a form of discipline. People with high emotional intelligence can sense what's happening around them without needing to say a word. They can pick up on tension, lies, or even fake kindness. This ability to read the room without verbal cues is called empathic accuracy. It's no wonder quiet folks often feel drained. In crowded spaces they absorb so much emotion and energy, along with unspoken feelings. So, they retreat to recharge, to reset in silence. And when they come back, they return clearer, calmer, and stronger. But let's be real, being silent in a loud world isn't always a walk in the park. Quiet people often get labeled as distant, cold, or detached. They hear things like speak up, fit in, or be more social. But here's the thing, not everyone is meant to be chatty all the time. Some souls are built for depth, not just noise. Some minds are wired for observation rather than attention. Sure, sometimes silence does stem from pain, like being dismissed too many times or realizing that speaking up doesn't always bring peace. But over time that pain transforms into wisdom. It teaches them that not every space deserves their voice, and that not every person is worthy of their truth. Silence is healing. It resets your nervous system and helps you hear your thoughts more clearly, allowing you to separate your truth from the world's noise. When you sit in silence long enough, you start to realize just how loud your mind can be. But eventually, even that quiets down. That's when real peace begins. Silent people know that peace isn't found in talking. It's found in listening to your breath, your intuition, and your heart. They find comfort in the little things that others often overlook: the sound of rain, the rhythm of their heartbeat, and the stillness that exists between moments. They've figured out that life doesn't need to be loud to hold meaning. There's a reason wise individuals throughout history, philosophers, monks, and deep thinkers, have all valued silence. It creates space for truth to emerge, strips away distractions, and lets you see the world as it truly is. When everyone else is caught up in trying to be right, the silent ones focus on understanding. When others seek attention, they crave peace. When the world is shouting, they choose to whisper, and somehow their whispers resonate longer. At the end of the day, the psychology behind those who stay silent in a loud world is both simple and profound. They've learned that peace is more powerful than trying to prove a point. That understanding trumps arguing, and that being calm is far more valuable than being correct. Their silence is their strength, their wisdom, and their way of navigating a noisy world without losing their essence. So, if you find yourself among the quiet ones, if You're the observer, the feeler, the person who speaks only when it truly matters. Don't ever feel pressured to change. Your silence doesn't make you invisible. It makes you wise beyond your years. It brings you peace in a world that seems addicted to noise, because sometimes the quietest people carry the loudest truths. And maybe, just maybe, in this world overflowing with noise, your silence is the most beautiful sound of all.